Hey guys, and welcome to PlushiesEncounters. Today we're doing another story time. Just a little disclaimer. I have literally had to record this as a voiceover because when I played the video back after recording it, apparently there is no sound, not a peep. And I really do put it down to the fact that there is otherworldly beings at play here, because in the video I literally explained that ghosts, not many ghosts like being seen. They don't like being entities. They don't like being seen. They don't like being noticed, and they don't like being recorded, definitely. And here I am talking about them, and that's what literally happened. They literally removed the sound. As you can see, literally in the video, I have got the microphone on me, and it was on. The light was on, but it just wasn't recording. So now I'm just going to re-record the story over it. Just having to, it's going to make this 10 times longer, but let's get into it. Today we are eating pasta and meatballs with cheese. Honestly, it was absolutely delicious. I can't lie, I could eat it again, but I'm kind of trying to diet. Anyway, so basically let's begin. So, as I was speaking about in the last one, we lived in quite a few different haunted places, but this house, particularly the last house that we resided in, was probably the most haunted one. And I don't even think it was just haunted with ghosts. I feel like it was generally poltergeist, because obviously things would get moved and things would get disturbed. We'd be disturbed. We barely got any sleep living in that place. So there was just one night. And we have this glass cabinet. Well, we used to have this glass cabinet. We don't have it anymore. But we used to have this glass cabinet where we'd put how you put little pictures and little memorable things you put inside there. We had little Manacchio cats. We had I think there was two little pink Manacchio cats, but the hand wouldn't move. How the hand usually bobs up and down, to give you luck. No. Ours didn't do that. Ours didn't have the mechanism to do that. We didn't have the mechanism to do that on our ones. And we also had these little bells on the door of the cabinet, so you could open it and you could pick anything out and whatnot, but people would know if things were picked out of it because the little bells would go off. I think they were just there, not even to catch anybody out or anything. It was just generally there because we wanted it to be there, I guess. They sounded cute. They were like chime bells almost. So anyway, every night, and this happened for months. It wasn't just a one-off occurrence. This would happen for months. We'd hear somebody imitating a cat going meow, 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 and then we'd hear the bells go on the little cabinet. It wasn't even. It was a where people put their good china. Obviously we'd hear the bell go, and then we heard something being moved around. I'm gonna try and just do it because I'm at a table, so it would sound like this. It'd be meow, 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 and we'd hear that, and that would go on for I don't know, a good 10 minutes, and we'd all hear it. It got to a point where my mum started to think that it was Strawberry doing it, because she used to be down there late at night, sometimes till 1 a.m, playing on the PlayStation. Because at the time there was only one PlayStation in the whole entire house, and that was it. So yeah, that would happen every night. It was really fucking creepy, honestly. One of the most scariest experiences. Nobody would go down at past a certain time, and we only had one toilet in the house, and that was downstairs. Just our luck. We wouldn't go down there, none of us. And I think my sister got creeped out after a certain point, because obviously after we thought it was her and we told her that that's what we heard, she was oh, creepy, that's not supposed to be a thing. So yeah, so there was that. There was also, as I explained in the last video, there was also the mimic, and the mimic was something else. I call it the mimic because it used to pretend to be us. You would go downstairs, we'd go to because we had to pass the fridge to get to the toilet. So imagine somebody would be literally you know how you just go through the fridge and you're looking for something to eat. It could be any of us, but there was this one time where I saw my sister Strawberry going through all the rummaging through all the stuff in the fridge, And I walked past and I was like, oh, hey. Like, just like a brief hey before I went back upstairs to go on my laptop. And like, I remember like not getting a response and being like, wait, hold on. Obviously, when I walked past her again, I was like, oh, hey, like, you're still in the fridge sort of thing. To my horror, like, how are you still in the fridge? So anyway, I got upstairs, then she was upstairs. And then basically, I was like, oh, why didn't you say anything when, like, when I went past you to go to the bathroom? And she was like, I wasn't downstairs. And I was like, yes, you was. You was literally just in the fridge. Like, you was literally just, like, rummaging through the fridge. And she was like, no, that wasn't me. I've been up here this whole time on my laptop. And I'm thinking, wait, what? And that would happen often. That wasn't just, like, a one-off thing either. Like, everything was happening often. Obviously, it didn't take a fucking rocket scientist to realise that our house was either some sort of portal or just, like, horribly enough, just haunted. Yeah. And there was this, like... This is like a really like gross one because I don't know, I hate talking about this one because it was just me. So obviously I used to sometimes from time to time be sat downstairs playing games on the PlayStation. If obviously Strawberry wasn't on the PlayStation, I'd be on the PlayStation. If I wasn't on the PlayStation, I'd probably be on the PlayStation. If he wasn't on the PlayStation, then our mom would have been on the PlayStation. So basically like that. But I was down there on this like occasion and we had a fireplace right next to the television at this time. Like television was like to the left. So like it was, you know, I don't know, like I'm not even going to go to like the explanation of how big the television was or how small it was. But there was a fireplace. One of those old fireplaces, not the ones where you had to throw logs into. No. One of those ones, and I'm going to like get a clip of it and I'm just going to put it in the corner. I'm literally just going to put it in the corner of the video at this point, if the words add up to like where I'm speaking in the video, which I don't think they're going to, but we will see. And basically near enough, there was this little hole at the bottom because we had mice at one point, like not pet mice, like literally mice just like roaming because like the next door neighbors, I don't know, probably used to like leave food out until they became an infestation in their house, and those like same mice would come into our house. So basically, obviously our fireplaces lead up into the chimney. So obviously, as you know, like the chimney is like behind, you know, if you live in a British house, of course, then you'll know what I'm on about. So yeah, there was this hole that was made by the mice, and that was like right below this you know, fireplace. And basically it was like it became like a little square hole. So what we done is we covered it with like a little rock just to like cover it over, because the hole was just creepy anyway, because it leads into like pitch blackness. So obviously I was sat there and I was playing a game, and from the corner of my eye, so it caught me off guard, like I could see it moving, the little like rock or whatever we put in the way, and like it moved, and that kind of caught me off guard. At first I was like, oh, it's probably like mice. So I looked down and see like, oh, I'm gonna catch a little mice. Like I thought, obviously I think mice are cute. I've had hamsters, you know, I've saved mice. I've done a lot of things with like animals, like because I love animals. So obviously I was like, oh, I'm gonna catch a little mouse. I'm gonna get a little glimpse, you know, like glimpsy wimpsy, thinking I was all cute and shit. Anyway, so I looked down, and to my horror, I literally see an eye, like an actual eye with like attached to a face. Like you can blankly see it was like a face, but you could see the eye literally looking through this hole right at me, a green eye. I'll never forget it. It was a green eye, person with a green eye. Well, at the time I thought it was a person, but anyway, I freaked out. I started screaming. I was like, oh my god, oh my god. So I ran up the stairs like a maniac, screaming, crying a bit, almost shit my pants. Probably did shit my pants. And then I think my brother came out of his room and he was like, wow, what's happened? And I go, there's an eye, I just saw there's somebody in the chimney, there's somebody in the like chimney. And he was like bewildered, like that's like crazy, like that you saw that. And I goes, I swear to God, I saw it. Like you could see that the little like rock had been moved. And it was like, well, I could see that the rock's been moved, but like, I don't know. So anyway, like the next day or whatever, obviously I explained it to like everybody else. And then what we did is we literally took the fireplace off the wall. Obviously, because, you know, we thought, oh, maybe there's somebody literally living in there. Like, maybe there's actually generally a person living in there. Which, honestly, in my head now, sounds preposterous. There was nobody living in there. Like, it's a whole fucking chimney. How did they get in there? How are they surviving you know. But at the time we took it off anyway, and there was nothing there, nobody there, nothing, just literally a whole chimney like leading up until like the open world at the top. If you look up, probably a bit of bird poo, but that was about it. Like I never forget that very moment that happened. It was actually really gross. And there's been like other experiences, and this one, like my brother used to be a skeptic. Like he used to be very skeptical about like everything. But this one, we all witnessed it that were there, which was me, Strawberry, and him, my older brother. He was literally sat right next to me. So there was a bowl. I mean, it might have been a plate, and it was in the middle of the table, and we all witnessed this. And this plate just literally, we was watching something. I don't remember what I was watching, but I was watching something, and basically, the plate just literally started moving across the table, and like it span around, but not fast, like in slow motion, as if somebody's like looking at it or just like deliberately trying to like get our attention. And it ran across the table, it lifted up a bit, like levitated, not like far off the table, like only like a few, not even inches, only a little bit higher off the table, and like it just moved across the table and then just stopped. And it was our brother, he was the one, like the first person to like say something. He was like, I know you guys saw that. And we were just like, yep, do you believe us now? And he like, I don't know whether he like wasn't skeptical after that or not. I still can't tell. He's a hard one to read. But I'm pretty sure he was convinced that what we said was like true. And like, so basically after that experience, there was many more, but this is one of the ones that stuck out to me. The day we watched Paranormal Activity. The first one back in like, I don't know, 20 something, I don't know. It might not, 2018? I don't know. I don't remember when the first Paranormal Activity came out. But we watched it in the house because it was free to watch at this time. Because this was like after it came out. So anyway, we all sat on the sofa and it like finished. We was all like kind of creeped out. And like I realised that if you give entities energy, and like you can give them energy just by acknowledging their existence. If something goes missing or something randomly happens in your house and you automatically think of something like, I don't know, let's say you thought something like creepy or scary, like, oh my God, it must be a ghost, like in your head, or just like outwardly thinking it like, oh, well, that's a ghost. Do you know what I mean? Like that gives them energy. It's their acknowledgement. You acknowledge it, they start to do more because you're giving them energy for them to do more. Especially if it's a poltergeist, like you're going to get the problem of you're giving it energy, it's doing more, you're getting more scared, you're giving it energy. So basically what we did was we got up off the sofa, all three of us were like, oh, let's go and get like cups of tea. We're British, we love a good cuppa. So we was like, yeah, let's go and get a cup of tea. Let's all get a cup of tea, a couple of biscuits, a couple of snacks, get some lovely little snacks and stuff. And like we did. So we got up and we went to get these snacks. We got these snacks. And, you know, I was there holding a cup of, I think it was either coffee or it might have been tea. I think I had coffee. My mum had like tea and biscuits. And like my sister had something else. Anyway, we like was making our cups of tea. And obviously we realised, because we had like our back door has like it had a curtain on it. Because I think we put that curtain on it personally because it was creepy looking out into the dark in the night when you're trying to like cook something in the kitchen. Especially because it gets like really dark during like winter, even when it's like not that late sort of thing. So obviously we got this little like mesh curtain. It wasn't like a full-on curtain, it was just mesh, so you could kind of see but you couldn't see. But that was pushed to the side as if somebody was trying to either like look out or trying to let something look in. So like, I know it sounds creepy, it honestly is really fucking creepy to think that happened. And none of us touched it, by the way. Like none of us were trying to look outside. There was nothing to look outside there for, if you know what I mean. Because at the time we didn't have like, you know, like a dog, or we had cats, but like, you know, cats are kind of just like, they go everywhere and anywhere. We wasn't really looking out for the cats because when they come back they would have let us know. So none of us looked out there, basically is what I'm trying to say. Obviously we closed the door when we came into the kitchen because obviously it's creepy to have the kitchen door open when you've got your back to it to go into like the fridge and stuff, and like the kitchen door's open and like it's just like leading out into like, you know, the living area. It's just creepy. I don't know, I've always thought it's creepy. It's like when you sit, like imagine if you're sitting at a table and then behind you is the hallway but your back's to the hallway, right? So like that creeps me out. I feel eerie about that. I feel like somebody's always watching me. It's like when you have your corner of your door open when you're literally just sitting down watching television and you constantly keep looking out into the the hallway. Even if it's got lights on out there, you're still looking out there like every 5 seconds. I don't know if it's just an OCD thing, but I do feel like I do that a lot. And I was actually there like you know, like looking out into there. So we obviously closed it. I was like, let's close it. At this point in the video, I'm pretty sure I'm doing like a dance. Like I'm doing like a dance. I don't even remember what I was dancing about. I think I was just like excited in this video. But anyway, so basically, yeah. So anyway, we're all finished now. And we're all like, oh, let's go back. Like we're huddling together. Like, you know, like what you do, like when you're scared and you're with a group of people and you don't want to be the last one out. Like, do you know what I mean? You don't want to be the last one. Nobody wants to be the last one. Not even a horror movie, in horror games, any other things. You do not want to be the last one. So we're there like trying to huddle towards the door. And anyway, so I go to grab onto the door, and then something basically like pushes the door like as if to like close us in. And like I'm there like, okay. So at first I'm like, okay, you know, and then I try and push it and it just like wouldn't open. So then I'm there pushing it. And bear in mind, this door doesn't have any locks. It's just a normal door handle on this door. And I'm there and I'm pushing it and I'm pushing it and I'm pushing it. Like, okay, yeah. And I'm like, guys, listen, we ain't getting out of here. We ain't getting out of here. We ain't getting out of here at all. We're stuck in this kitchen. And they're like, what do you mean we're stuck in this kitchen? What do you mean? I goes, you try it, you try it. And obviously my mom and my sister both tried to push the door. Okay, and then it got to a point where like I tried to push the door again. And I was like, okay, let me just try this one more time. So anyway, I've pulled the handle down and I've gone to push the door. Anyway, so then the door actually gives way, like as if something like let go of it. But then I was like, okay, something let go of it. Then what the fuck was it? So anyway, at this point, I actually go to close the door because it's like slowly coming open. So I've literally grabbed the door and then somebody starts pulling the door on the other side. And we're just here like, okay, this is not funny anymore. We're like saying like our brother's name and stuff. And like, oh yeah, oh my God, like stop. Like this isn't funny anymore. Like in horror movies, so typical. Like, oh my God, you know, like, oh my God, this is not funny anymore, guys. I'm getting actually scared. I'm actually scared now. You know, like they do in the movies. Like was basically doing that, but like we wasn't like joking about it, like was being dead serious because it was like shit in our pants. So I'm there like being pulled by whatever it is on the other side of the door just by holding onto the handle. So they're pulling me, well, they're pulling the door and I'm being pulled with the door. So obviously, and then I'm like, you guys help me, like help me like pull the door handle so that like it doesn't go open. I don't know why we didn't want to let whatever it was in, but because it didn't open, like because it wasn't open, it was like, to me, that's kind of like telling that there's something else on the other side of the door that you don't want in with you, if you know what I mean. And honestly, I really didn't want that. Like, I didn't want it in there. I don't think any of us wanted it in there. And we was like, and then my mum started shouting, go away, which was like our like thing to do. And I think she started praying. And we was actually still all holding on to this door, still holding on to this goddamn door. You know what I mean? Pulling on it while it's pulling back. Like, and it was being forced as well. Like, it was aggressively pulling the door. Like, the door could have come off the hinges the way it was pulling that door. It was as if like literally that's what we thought it was a whole person because of the way it was being pulled. And we was like, you're not coming in here, you're not coming in here. Like literally nothing was like responding, nothing like that. It was just the door was doing that. And our door's not like a weird door, like, oh, you know, maybe it had one of those metal hinge things at the top that could have made it like do that effect. No, none of that. It was just a standard door that you have in your house that's just made out of wood and like just one of those doors. It was that basic. And like it got to a point where like we were just all praying and just shouting for it to get out until it literally did. It like fucked off. And like when it finally did, oh my God, the door like released and like we all sort of like didn't joust back, but like I don't know how to like explain that. Like we kind of like flew back a bit, but we didn't fall over. Anyway, we picked up all of our stuff. Obviously it wasn't on the floor, but we put them down on the side when like obviously when them two realised that I wasn't joking, that the door genuinely was being pulled. They basically realised at that point that I was being dead serious, so they put their stuff down. I already put my cup of like coffee down and like packet of crisps or whatever. I already put that down, so like it wasn't that deep for me. But yeah, so basically that was that experience. I was all shocked, horrified. It was actually really like such a horrible experience, that particular one, because honestly it could have went one or two ways. It could have been some psychopath in the house, which we all anticipated it might have been, but it wasn't, because when we actually went to check to see if anybody was out there. Sorry, I had to move my phone because I'm recording this with my phone voice over thing. So you're going to hear a lot of weird sounds. You might even hear me tapping the table. You might even hear the chair that I'm like sitting on. So like, yeah, it could have been one or two ways. It could have been a demonic entity, because we literally did just watch Paranormal Activity. Again, we gave whatever entity it was the energy to do what it was doing, you know? Like, it was horrible. And I'll talk about another experience, and this was when there was lightning going on outside, and I remember this quite fondly. It was just me, my sister, and my brother in the house, and we had cats at this time. Well, we had like one cat, Mungosaur, and like I remember me and my sister were sitting in our room. We were just on our like phones, like, you know, doing silly things on phones as you do, you know, watching YouTube, silly things. I don't know why I said it like that, but yeah. So we were watching our phones. Our brother was in his room, probably on his phone. What we do, like when we like hear lightning and stuff, because we like, I don't know, we've always had this like fear that our house is going to be struck and we're all just going to get like electrocuted to death. So we turn out the lights like in every single like element of the house, and we don't put the televisions on. We turn televisions off, so everything's just like pitch black. And it was really like dark outside, because I don't know, it must have been like evening time, and this was going on. So we turned out the lights, and then the next minute we hear somebody coming up the stairs slowly. So like me and my sister are thinking, hold on a minute, like our brother's like literally in his room, and he hasn't really come out the room, unless we literally missed it because we was on our phones and like talking to each other and just like doing gibberish because we shared a room. Anyway, like we had our door like very briefly closed because, well, we had it closed. Anyway, whatever it was got to the top of the stairs, and like our steps were really weird. So they would go like up and then like to the side, and like our room was to the side of these like steps. As you would go up, like you'd get to the top, and there would be our room, and our brother's room would be on the other side to the left, ours is to the right. So anyway, it, like whatever it was literally fully came up the stairs, doof 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 doof, got to our bedroom, stood there, and we was like, is that you? To our brother, was like, hello, is that you? And then obviously he must have heard us from his room, and he was like, what? Like he couldn't hear us like properly, so he was like, what? So anyway, he came out of his room, and he was like, what are you saying? Like, and then he came to the bedroom, he opened the door, and we was like, did you just come to our room? Like, did you just come like outside our door? And he was like, no, I've been sat in my room for like ages, I've just been like drawing. And we were just there like, huh? You must have done. And he was like, well, that's creepy. And then like obviously, so like he sat down in the room with us because he was like, okay, this is like really creepy. Anyway, so we closed the door. You know, obviously we have a cat, so obviously this is like, you know, we wasn't like that worried about it, but we was, because we was like, hold on a minute. But nobody actually came into the room, because the whatever it was literally came to the door, literally got to the top of the stairs, came to our room, literally stood there outside the door and waited and just didn't move. Anyway, so he gets like, our brother comes in, we close the door, pitch black still, and we're there with our phones, just like carrying on, like, and we was chatting at this point, and he was like, nah, like, he goes, I did hear it though, like I did hear it come up the stairs, whatever it was. And we were just like, well, that's even more creepy, thanks, you know. Thanks. So anyway, we were all like chilling, sitting there, and then we hear like, again, like somebody come like up those, like, there was like 3 steps at the top of the stairs that you had to go up just to get to our room. And we heard somebody walk back up those 3 steps and then stand outside the room, and almost like somebody was like leaned against it. So we're thinking, oh, it's the cat. So we're like, oh, Mungosaur. And obviously, like, you know how cats are. Some cats are just like really verbal. Our cats usually are really verbal. I don't know why. But like, she was a very verbal cat. So she would literally like meow, and I'd be like, meow, you know, like, I'm out here. Like, I'm there, I've been here. So obviously we were just there like, okay, like calling this cat, thinking like she's gonna like meow back. Anyway, we open the door a little bit, because we're like, if it's the cat, like the cat will like push the door open and come in. So we open it just a little bit. It's still pitch black in the room, but we like got our flashlights on at this point, and we're like waiting for this cat to come in. We're all facing the door with the lights, like we're literally facing the door with the phone lights, our torches on the phone, and like waiting for this cat to come in, like. And it only like sunk in when the door literally like opened itself, Like, obviously we opened it a tiny bit, but it just started like going open, like pushing itself open. And then like we was all just like, oh, and like nothing came in. Nothing. There was nothing freaking there. There was nothing. Not even a cat. Not even a shadow. Like, there was nothing. Nothing walked in. Like, our floors were hella creaky. So like we heard the creak of somebody like standing right outside our room. Like, there was just like a big creaky spot right there, right outside our room. So if anything had stepped like into the room, we would have like heard it creak. So whatever it was just like, I don't know, it must have just like leaned forward and pushed the door open. Anyway, there was no cat. Our cat wasn't there. It was horrible. Our brother was like, well, that's fucking weird. Like, that just doesn't happen, sort of thing. Like, we all heard it. We all heard them come upstairs, and like, it just wasn't it. It was a horrible, another horrible experience. Also, I just want to take it back to the times when sleeping was traumatizing, because I'd always hear whispering. Me and my sister would both hear whispering. We'd always hear people coming up the stairs and standing outside our room. It was so traumatizing, and this would just go on, like on and on and on. And my mum would have experiences where like she's seen things herself, and just weird things would always happen. Like, my mum was traumatized for like a good year of being like traumatized by like spirits, etc., etc. I remember just like not wanting to sleep in the dark sometimes, because I used to see something and it would always creep me out. And for the longest time, I've been able to see spirits. I've been able to see like things that people can't see. And I'm kind of exploring that now, because a lot of people are like, oh, you're a medium. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna test it out for size, because ever since I've like started to actually use the gift, a lot of spirits have been coming forward, a lot more. Like, I have ones that literally live in my house. I have an old woman. There's a man that stands by the window in my living room and he looks out. They're very like calm. They're not anything like horrible, so I don't really mind them being there. And I don't think they mind me, because they don't seem to be doing anything to like harm me, which is really great. I love that we can just live amongst each other and not have to feel the pressure of like everything. I'm sorry again about like the audio like not matching up to the video, because it literally deleted the sound, which is like crazy. It literally deleted the sound, which I literally hate. But yeah, so in my videos, like my future videos that I do in like haunted places, I'm going to be using my gift more to see the spirits, so I can better explain to people what I'm staring at, or what I can see, or what I've saw, and yeah, and thank you everybody for like watching and supporting. I'm like so happy, and like I'm proud to call this channel my channel. I didn't think I'd get this far. I just generally thought that I would have given up by now, considering I'm partially sighted, going into dark places. It's just like it's probably the worst thing you could do as a partially sighted person, is go into dark places, but I do it still. But yeah, I just feel like I'm definitely, like, a lot of different doors have opened for me recently. Not just spiritually, but like physically, like physical doors, But yeah, I mean, should I finish this off with like another story? I guess you guys might want to hear another story. Okay. No, I don't want to save that for another video. I actually don't know. I probably should do you guys just one more little, just a little story, Well, basically, the other night, and this was quite a recent thing. The other night, I was in my room, and I don't know why, but I just felt this weird feeling that I was in like a different dimension. Like, I didn't feel like I was here, and I don't even know how to explain it. I felt like I was in a movie, and I just had this horrible feeling that something like horrible was going to happen. And I know people are going to say, oh, that's just anxiety, that's just a bit of PTSD, and I'm just here like, yeah, probably, but no, it really wasn't. So anyway, I lied down in my bed, and this feeling came over me, and then I started to hear like a tapping noise like behind my television, and my television is like at the end of my bed, but it's on like chest of drawers. I know people are going to be like, why are they on chest of drawers? Listen, at the time I thought it was a good idea. I've broke my neck since. I'm joking, I haven't broke my neck. But yeah, I have to break my neck to look at it, because it's quite high up. which I'm going to change today actually. Yeah, so I'm there, I'm happening to move the phone again, and I hear this tapping noise from behind the television. At first I'm just thinking it's probably the television settling, because I not long like had the television on. It's probably just television settling, you know, like how houses settle. I was feeling like maybe that's like how that settles too. And like that, like obviously at that point I was just like, oh, it's just probably the television. Anyway, so then for some weird reason my brain's telling me like, look, open your eyes, open your eyes, open your eyes. I didn't actually look to see like the television, any tapping, but I opened my eyes, and obviously I'm facing like the computer, like where my computer desk is. And underneath my computer desk, I don't know what it was, but like I could see a face emerging from underneath the computer desk. And it was freaking horrifying. Like it was actually sideways, and it was leaning like outwards. It was coming out. And I just jumped out of the bed, slapped that light on. I literally slapped it on hard. I was like, yeet, that light needs a yeet. So that's what I did. I yeeted the light on. And I was like, I'm not having any of this. And I was like, okay, this is my house sort of thing. Like, what the fuck's going on? So I'm there waiting. Like my brain, like, I don't know. My body was just like, wait. Just wait. So I wait. I'm stood there and I'm waiting. And then, to my horrification, I see an old woman walking wearing like a black, like a Little Red Riding Hood kind of hood, but she didn't have the hood up. She just had it back, and it was black. So she had like the riding hood, but it was just like black. And she was just like trying to pull like a scary face. And like, I was like, hold on. I was like, woman. Like, woman. Like, I was fully like outwardly speaking. I was like, this is my house. You can't just come in here. And you know what the craziest thing was? Like she did, like I said, listen, I literally said to her, you need to leave. Like you need to get out. Like go. Coming up in here trying to scare me. Like I was angry because I wanted to go to sleep. I was so tired. I was like coming up in here trying to scare me. Anyway, I didn't realize like only until the day after that it was actually April Fool's. So obviously it just must have just been like a ghost just trying to prank me at this point, because she didn't seem like a horrible person, but the energy she was giving was like, oh, I'm angry, like, oh, I'm gonna scare you. And like it wasn't working out, period. Like it just didn't scare me. It did like it scared me enough for me to get up out of my bed and turn the light on. And like, you know, she walked off through the television, and I was like, okay, bye then. You know what I mean? Like she left. But anyway, I'm gonna wrap it up here. Thank you guys for subscribing, and thank you for enjoying my videos. We're gonna do more, and I can't freaking wait. I'm gonna do more haunted houses and haunted places. I'm gonna just like actually go into places this time. But yeah, I love you guys. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and share, because sharing is caring. We love doing that. Goodbye. I love y'all. Mwah.